Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today's session we will be covering about oxidants and antioxidants, which is a useful topic for us, and it is going to cost approximately 5 marks in university examination. So let's get into the topic. It will be discussed in two topics, that is oxidants as one and antioxidants as other topic. So the first topic is about oxidants. Actually, oxidation reactions are going to occur constantly in our body. These oxidation reactions are going to oxidize the food particle and release sufficient amount of energy. If these oxidation reactions are manipulated or gone wrong, they are going to lead to form a product known as free radicals. These free radicals may be defined as the entities that are consisting of unpaired electron in its outermost orbit are known as a free radical. This unpaired electron is going to make it a highly reactive one, and it is denoted by a dot or an ion on it. Because of its highly reactivity, it is going to damage the cell membrane. So there is a need to control it. It may be controlled by removing of an electron or addition of an electron. If this electron is removed, it is going to take this unpaired electron. If an electron is added, it is going to pair up and it is going to become stable. If this reaction is not going to occur, it is going to lead to a form of chain of reactions. The ultimate aim of this chain of reactions is to produce oxidative stress. The entities that is causing these oxidative stress are reactive oxygen species, which is defined as ROS. So friends, once again let's summarize up. Oxidation of food particles is going to lead us energy. These food particles may be carbohydrates, proteins or fats. If these oxidation reactions are manipulated or gone wrong, this is going to form a free radicals. These free radicals may be defined as the entities that is consisting of unpaired electron in its outermost orbit. These are highly reactive and denoted by A on its and a radical or an ion on its top, where we can control by removing this electron or by pairing up this. If not going this reaction, it is going to lead to a chain of reaction that is going to form oxidative stress, and the species that are going to cause these oxidative stress are reactive oxygen species. So friends, let's go into the next topic, the antioxidants. If free radicals not controlled, they are going to lead to a chain of reactions, which I have already told. The ultimate aim of this chain of reactions is to produce oxidative stress. This oxidative stress is going to damage cell membrane, that is lipid, DNA and proteins. If they become damaged, the whole cell is going to get destroyed. So there is a need to control this oxidative stress, and they are controlled by species known as antioxidants. These antioxidants may be endogenous or exogenous. Endogenous antioxidants include superoxide dismutase, glutathione peroxidase, glutathione reductase, cytochrome C, catalase, etc. The exogenous antioxidants include vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium. And friends, you must know before going into this topic, these free radicals differ from each other by their potency. They may become more potent like hydroxyl ion. They may be less potent like superoxide ion. OH- is known as a more potent free radical because it is more permeable to all the cell membrane and going to damage. This is less permeable to cell membrane and it's so less potent. Let's see how these antioxidants are going to function against the oxidants. Taking an example, superoxide dismutase. Actually, superoxide is O2 minus ion that is formed whenever in a respiratory chain. If you are going to observe, the electrons are passed from one complex to other, finally leading to form H2O. That is by adding two electrons to O2 leads to form H2O and two H plus ions. If only one H plus and one electron are added, it is going to form a superoxide ion. This superoxide ion is a free radical and it need to be controlled, and it is controlled by superoxide dismutase by adding another ion, and it is going to lead to form H2O2, and this H2O2, which is also a toxic one, is now catalyzed by catalase into H2O and O2, which are non-harmful. So friends, let's define superoxide. Superoxide is a substance that is a O2 minus. It is formed by unpaired electron, and one H plus is going to add to the O2, which is going to lead to form O2 minus. And now this O2 minus need to be controlled, and it is controlled by superoxide dismutase leading to form peroxide, and this peroxide is now catalyzed by catalase into H2 and O2, and it is becoming a stable one. Now we are going to see the function of glutathione reductase. Actually, glutathione peroxidase, glutathione reductase, peroxidase, reductase. All these are going to function only in one reaction, that is we are going to observe. See, the H2O2 is converted into H2O and O2 by glutathione peroxidase. Now, these reducing equivalents are absorbed by glutathione and it is converted into reduced glutathione. Now, there is a need for conversion of reduced glutathione again into the glutathione, because this reaction must continuously occur, and this reaction should also be continuously occur, and this is catalyzed by enzyme glutathione dehydrogenase. The main coenzyme of glutathione dehydrogenase is selenium. So selenium is also one of